seems safe enough to lean a guitar against the edge of a counter or a chair or a desk. You know, we've all done it. You kind of feel for the sweet spot and you think, that'll stay, I hope. Truth is, it's not safe, ever. There are literally thousands of guitar owners who've learned this lesson the hard way, usually with a broken neck or headstock. Sometimes the guitar falls over all on its own. Other times it just takes the tiniest bump or maybe a vibration from across the room and wham! And while a break like that is technically repairable, it's definitely going to cost you. But an even bigger cost will be the hit to the guitar's value, because a neck or headstock repair can cut the value of a high-end guitar in half. I mean, sometimes even more than half. Now, in case you don't believe me, I bought this sweet Japan-made Takamine 12-string, which was worth about $1,200 at the time, for $200. 1/6 the then current market value. So now, why was that? Only because it had a repaired neck crack. You can barely see it, but it's here, right there. So let's make sure this never happens to you. Stick around to discover 2 cheap insurance policies that prevent guitar accidents for under $20. So I'm sharing today's guitar discoveries because of a nasty experience I still regret 10 years later. So one day I was just being a nice guy and I offered to vacuum our basement, which has a laundry area and my son Eli's recording studio called Jaka Productions with all his gear and instruments. So Eli owned this really nice Les Paul copy. This is a Jay Turser JT-22D for deluxe, nice and heavy. And it was in my way. So I carefully leaned it against a laundry rack. And I did my usual test. You know, it felt safe because the flat back of the headstock was leaning against the flat wood of the rack. And hey, this was just going to be a quick vacuum, right? It wasn't worth trying to find a guitar stand or put the guitar in its case. And I swear the vacuum's cord must have just grazed the guitar. But then, wham! I heard it fall behind me. I heard the sound of the strings pulling out of tune, and the neck was cracked. I couldn't believe I'd done something so careless. I mean, I'm the guy who always says the lazy man does the most work. So I apologized like 1,000 times over, and I paid to get the neck professionally repaired by a really good luthier, which cost about half the guitar's original value at that time. So this is an inexpensive guitar, even though it's nice. So today the neck is smooth and the guitar plays fine, but it is such a massive scar. I'm going to show you now. See that? Oh, it's so painful. Let me get it up close. Brutal. This is such a massive scar that it really affects how we both feel about playing it. So Eli doesn't play it much, and I kind of don't want to relive that level of guilt, so I usually don't play it either. So the only bright spot is that I learned this hard lesson on a low-cost Jay Turser Les Paul and not a $3,000 plus Gibson. But I really did learn the lesson. So here are those insurance policies I promised. These are cheap, easy tools that are going to make sure your guitar never slides or falls over and breaks your heart or riddles you with guilt in the process. Number 1, super cheap and easy, no installation, the D'Addario Planet Waves guitar rest. It's under $10 and link in the description. This is a super portable molded piece of kind of inert rubber-like material, very bendable, and it won't damage or stick to your guitar's finish. You just set it on the edge of any surface, any flat surface, and it becomes a guitar stand. It even doubles as a coaster when the guitar's not there. So anyway, you can put it on a cabinet like this, or a desk, amp, a road case, whatever, and when you lean your guitar against it, it just gently cradles the neck and stops the guitar. I mean, completely stops the guitar from sliding over. And these guitar rests are so cheap, you might want to put a few around your studio or other rooms in your house. You know, keep one in your case or your gig bag just to use when you don't have a guitar stand. Now, the guitar rest is partial insurance because it's open and your guitar could still get knocked forward. So there is a more comprehensive insurance policy, a little safer and sturdier. It is called the D'Addario Planet Waves Guitar Dock. It's still under 20 bucks. Link also in the description. Now it's similar to the Guitar Rest because it's compact, it's portable, lightweight. It's definitely a little bulkier, but this piece folds down, so it still should fit in your guitar case. Now I'm going to cut off the packaging. Now this dock adds protection in two ways. Because first, instead of just resting on an edge, it actually clamps to the edge of the desk with this little screw here. And it locks in place so it can't get knocked off. You can even clamp it to a vertical edge, like some amps and Rode cases, and then you rotate the head 90 degrees, and voila, you've got an instant stand. Now, the other way the dock gives you more protection is that it surrounds your guitar neck with this arched plastic piece and these two flexible ones. So they really hold the neck in place. You know, it's more like a real stand, way less likely to get knocked around. So my advice is to get one or more of these things and just vow to never leave a guitar leaning somewhere or lying around to get bumped, you know, sat on or otherwise wrecked. All right, there you go. 2 cheap and easy accessories that serve as insurance policies for all your guitars. Definitely worth it when you realize that is the alternative. All right, please take a sec to like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you haven't yet, and go to guitardiscoveries.com to check out my other videos. You're going to find tons of accessories and tips like this, along with guitar, voice, and recording techniques from my decades as a performer and producer. And cheers to your music.